2010, I believe, you were tapped to be a co-host with another Detroit luminary, Jay Towers. Talk about your time when you went to Clear Channel there. That was a great opportunity to do a morning show, right?
Yeah. So in between working at 106.7, which at that time had just become Clear Channel, and like I said, they had gone and flipped to, a country form. I think they were called the Fox. I don't even remember what they were called. That station has flipped
Right.
its
So many
name
times.
and format so many times. Alex Tier, who's also a Specs grad, he was a good friend of the school and was always doing things, a huge advocate. He'd come in to visit and he offered me to do weekends there. So for a while, I was working at DRQ when it was 93.1 DRQ,
Right.
and I was doing Specs. And so I get this phone call after, well, let me backtrack one more time. I worked there for 8 months. DRQ flipped on April
Right.
Fool's Day. What was that, 2000? Was that 2009
I
or
want to say it
10?
was 2009. It might have been. Well, I think it could have been 2010. I don't know. I don't know what happened last Thursday. Stop
I
it.
know, right? So it was 2009 or 2010. And so everybody, as we all know, got blown out and they
Yeah.
went automated to Doug FM. It was awful.
Oh,
However, their sister station, 96.3 WDVD, at that time we were still taking meter readings and they
oh
hadn't
my.
thought that through. So they needed somebody there to physically take meter readings on the overnight. And they called me. They fired us like at noon. And they called me about 6 o'clock that night. And they were like, so, hi, friend. Would you want to come back and, I don't know, just do an overnight shift on DVD? Because we need somebody to take meter readings. And I was like, I will do it for 2 weeks if you will find me a job. I'm not saying it needs to be full time. I just want to do a weekend shift. Well, our new PD's starting soon, and you can talk to him about that. I was like, great. What's his number? I'm calling the guy. Like, I felt like, what's the worst they could say? No, and I
Right.
worked for
Right.
2 weeks.
It probably worked out the other way. Like you were like, oh, look at this chick and her initiative. It
Yeah,
probably worked out
and
for you.
so that it worked out perfectly, and I ended up working there for quite some time. I was there for a few years actually, but no, it had to have been 2000. Now that I'm thinking this through, because I was at DVD for a few years, it had to have been about 2006.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
2005. I don't know. We'll have to look that up. But I worked at DVD for a few years and was just doing weekends and working at Specs. Then I get this phone call from Jay Towers that they're looking to start this new morning show at NIC. Well, first he couldn't even tell me where. That he's looking to start this new morning show. And I said, where? Well, I can't tell you. But can we meet up and do an audition? Your name, has been brought up a few times. Sure, great. And so I met up with him. Him and we did a couple of auditions in the Clear Channel building. So I knew that much that it was going to be Clear Channel. I didn't
Right.
know what station. So I knew either somebody was getting fired or was 106.7 going to flip again.
Could be. Never know.
Right. And so one thing led to another, and we were brought on to do a show together. And we did that for 3 years.